In this issue is about the air crash of the Ukrainian governor. This is by far the world's worst air crash of a governor. Saturday, July 27, 2002. Ukraine's short summer season was drawing to a close. It was supposed to be the biggest entertainment of the day. Would be the Ukrainian Air Force's air show at the Singeliv airfield. Scheduled to take part in the show are Su-27 and MiG-29s, the most advanced fighters of the Ukrainian Air Force, There will be gliders and parachute jumping. Although such shows are often held in Ukraine but still attracts many people. Many people brought their children who were on summer vacation to see the show. There were tens of thousands of spectators. People came to the airport. Freely visit the various aircraft parked in the airport, taking pictures for souvenirs, couples snuggling with each other. They are not missing the opportunity to talk about love. Then the show started as usual. The first to appear is the transport aircraft and airborne soldiers. While parachuting, the paratroopers, pulling out colorful smoke in the air, like a rainbow, splendid and colorful. After that was the aerobatic performance of sports aircraft, dazzling. Su-27 supersonic fighter jets were arranged to appear at the back, to gradually increase the level of thrill and excitement. To bring the show to a climax, the Su-27 fighter is flown by a Ukrainian ace pilot. The Su-27s came out from low altitude. It caused the audience to cheer enthusiastically. He passes over the audience at a very low altitude. It was breathtaking. Then the plane quickly pulled up and rolled. Suddenly he seemed to come to a standstill. And then he went straight down over the trees. It was almost as if he was flying fast against the ground, and people thought it was part of an air show. Before even hearing a sound, the plane brushed the front of a nearby Un-276 large military transport plane. It smashed the nose of his plane into pieces. His own wing rubbed against the ground. A cascade of dust. A teenager was taking pictures of the plane. Suddenly he saw the plane coming. Instinctively, he fell to the ground. The plane passed over his head. The grass and dirt flew. When he opened his eyes to see, immediately stunned, all around him were corpses. Suddenly he understood. Those who had fallen down later, none of them survived. They were cut off by the planes like lawn mowers. The people who were laughing just now, in an instant, they became half buried. Some had only 2 legs. It was impossible to identify them. There were body parts everywhere. It was like a huge slaughterhouse. By this time, the plane had turned into a tumbling ball of fire. It hit the spectator area. Immediately, smoke billowed out from the crowd. Then there was a blazing fire. After a brief moment of shock, people recovered from their daze. A state of severe confusion ensued. Many did not realize that the catastrophe was over. Many others didn't actually understand what had happened. They could only run around, crowding and pushing each other. The floor was littered with lost shoes, books, newspapers, and other items. Shouts and groans mingled with shrieks and cries. Parents rushed through the blockade, frantically running around. The bodies were all over the ground, searching for their children among the torn limbs and blood. Ambulances rushed to the scene to try to save the injured. On-site statistics: 77 people were killed in the accident. 27 of them were children. As a result, the world's worst air show to date. Air show accident. According to Ukrainian regulations, when performing aerobatics, flight height should not be less than 400 meters. The distance between the performance area and the spectator area must be at least 300 meters. It is forbidden to fly at low altitude over the spectators' heads. The pilot broke the rules while flying. The pilot was not so much food as bravado. Ukraine declared the 29th as a national day of mourning. The main streets of the country were also quite quiet. Pedestrians who had to go out also looked serious. The busiest places at this time of year are churches. Churches across the country are holding mourning services. Churches across the country are holding mourning services, filled with people coming to pray. People are also rushing to the crash site. Candles are being lit and flowers and wreaths are being laid to prevent a repeat of the tragedy. Ukraine has since banned the use of military aircraft or other weapons and equipment for recreational purposes. 2 pilots were able to eject the plane just before it crashed, successfully ejected, and survived. They walked out of the crash site on their own. They did not appear to be seriously injured. They said they had no choice but to, before deciding to eject the plane. But this ejection caused the plane to crash into the spectator area, resulting in hundreds of casualties. So, the price they paid for their lives was too high. May such incidents never happen again.